welcome. Here we go. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in wet, dreary, rainy downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. But it is still glorious. It is glorious. And, of course, on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page, of course. And you can find all your live streaming options and social media links and contact info and phone numbers and emails at my website, mattconnerton.com. Everything is right there for you. And hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online. Today is Wednesday, May 5th. 2021. I guess it is Cinco de Mayo, they call it. I don't know. Is that like the young people do that? I don't know. But I'm not. I don't pay much attention to it myself because I just don't care. Is that I think in some, and by the way, I don't say this to be flippant. I think there are some who object to the concept of Cinco de Mayo. They consider it cultural appropriation. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I think there are people who take that concept or cultural misappropriation who take that concept that seriously. But, I'm not much of a partier, so I don't care about these days that are specifically for partying and consuming alcohol, like Cinco de Mayo or St. Patrick's Day. I'm Irish, and I don't care about St. Patrick's Day. I don't even remember when it is every year until it's almost upon us, and I happen to be reminded that it's, St. Patrick's Day is coming. I guess it's in March, right? I only know that because we just had it recently. I think it's in March, isn't it? See, I don't even know. Anyway, but so welcome, everyone. Let's see. I do want to remind you, of course, that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street. Right across the street, I can wave. There's a slight delay, so they won't see it. But we are very honored and privileged to have them as a sponsor. They, speaking of drinks, they have not only delicious gourmet pretzels, but they have craft beer, they have wine. Thursday nights, they have trivia night. Friday nights, they have live music. They do Sunday brunch. I know they have some, I'm just waiting for Kenny to let me know what they're planning for Juneteenth this year. Lots of great stuff happening at the Hop Knot. And speaking of great stuff, we have our first call of the day. Of course, we never know if the call is actually going to be great stuff, but I try to approach these things with a sense of optimism. So we'll see. This will be a shared adventure. Let's see who's on the line. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Easy G.
Oh, Easy G.
Hey, you're not going to believe this. I was so tired yesterday that I slept through your show and the replay of the Retrospective Radio, and I woke up just in time for Polly C to say goodbye.
Wow. Well, now...
So you must have a soothing voice, too, because I just fell right asleep.
Our friend Paulie C has a very soothing voice. But, Eric, I
think you do, too.
But, well,
I slept through Peter White's show. I slept through your show before. Again yesterday.
Well, of course, I have a soothing voice. I work professionally.
Yeah, you're right. You're a hypnotist.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist. In fact, you might find...
I was wondering if I get a favor. I'm trying to figure out how to get in the building, because at nighttime at 5 o'clock, the place closes. I was thinking that you're already there. So maybe you could open the door around 7:15, if that works for you.
Yeah, or I can just send you the code to get into the building.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That would be good. Yeah, if you have the code that says it's me on Facebook Messenger. Obviously, don't put it on the regular Facebook. Obviously, that'd be cool.
Correct. Yes, that would defeat the purpose of having a code.
We don't want anybody. Well, we don't want any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Whoever made those names, I don't know, but we don't want any Tom, Dick, or Harry walking in.
Also, we don't want...
Like what happened the other day. Oh my God!
Yeah. We had not a Tom or a Harry, but definitely a Dick invading the studio the other day unannounced.
Yeah, we don't want that ever happen again.
That is correct. What I'll do is Eric, is I'll send you on Facebook in Facebook Messenger. I'll send you the code, and then if you get here that night, Friday night, and you still can't get in, just message me. I'll be here. I'll come.
I did the code a while back for some reason. I don't remember why. But...
What's that?
Oh, I think I might have done it one time when Kyle was on.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle, Sunday the door was locked. So.
Kyle Heavey, your nemesis, or have you made up? I forget.
Not anymore. I don't think so, no.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was so out of it last night. I even forgot the New Hampshire Fisher Cats were on. On the radio.
Now, Eric, one thing though about Friday is I hope that you're not going to fall asleep during the live show while you're in the studio.
No, I think I'll be awake.
All right, because that would just be
I hope
awkward.
so. If I fall asleep before on the Peter White Morning Show, you put that on Facebook a while back, and there I was asleep,
Yeah, because
resting my eyes.
here's the thing, Eric. On Paul's show, if someone falls asleep, they wake up with something drawn on their face. It's very unpleasant.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Just be aware of that because we do have magic markers.
Has it ever
here,
happened on your show that somebody dozes off?
Oh yes, I dozed off 1 week, and I woke up and I went
no.
and looked at myself in the bathroom
Remember
mirror.
that?
I was so
guy,
humiliated.
Hoppy, one time we were, it's like a while back. He wanted to sleep on the couch. Remember, he wanted to get comfortable. And you said, no.
That is not allowed. The suits,
Right.
as we
I don't know why
like
he
to say.
asked. You know.
Yeah, he thought he
the
could
don't
just.
like that. Obviously, it doesn't look good if somebody's listening to it on 97. You see somebody laying down.
Yeah.
The person might think that the guy's drunk.
Yeah, not the most professional thing to have someone unconscious in the
Of course
studio
not.
during your
I
show.
mean, it would be different if you're doing a hypnosis and before
Correct.
COVID, and somebody wanted to lay down on the couch and get comfortable, and
Yes.
that's different. As a job site, nobody's looking.
Right. Correct. But yes, we will need you to stay conscious on Friday night for your own safety and protection, EZG. We're kind of ruthless.
Say that again?
For your own safety and protection, we'll need you to stay conscious on Friday night during
Oh yeah, I
Retro
definitely will. I have a
Spectrum
feeling
Radio.
I'm going to stay awake.
Good.
I'll probably crash after. I was thinking though, after the show, we could all just hit the bars.
I assume you're kidding.
Yeah, I know, just a joke.
I was going to say, you're not really a hit the bars
I
type
have
of guy.
I can't believe the last time I've hit the bars and closed the bars. Oh my God! Remember they say nothing good happens after midnight.
Oh, a lot of good things can happen after midnight. It depends on the
No,
context.
really, none of them are any good.
Okay. I don't know that that's true, but there certainly is.
I've never been a big bar guy anyway. So,
No,
unless Amanda McCarthy was playing, of course.
Honestly, I'm not either. The only periods in my life where I've spent much time in bars is, when I was playing in bands, if we were playing shows in bars. Other than
Right.
that, unless it's business related, I'm not really a bar guy. Like if somebody says to me, hey, do you want to go get a drink at the bar? I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll go to the Hop Knot because they also have delicious food.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But I
you
don't.
know what today would have been the same with last year. It would have been the taco tour today.
Oh, the taco tour. Yes. Well,
The weather's not the best, but
you have some history
it would
with
have been
that.
Taco tour. Like I said,
Yeah.
don't quote me, but I hear the rumor on the street is they're trying to have it in September. So.
Oh, are they trying to? They're going to have it in September. They're going to mix it up.
Right. Sarah Boulder said that, so I can't get myself in trouble this time. So.
Are you sure? Are you
It was
sure
a classic
she's
time where I came on the radio and I wasn't supposed to say anything, and
okay?
she was taking over the taco tour, and of course I blurted it out, and she wasn't very happy with me.
So she explicitly.
And of course, you know what happened the
told you
last time
it was
I went
okay?
down there before COVID hit. I went down to their office a couple weeks ago, and I was able to see her, which was great. And I went down there to try to get your name on there, and of course Peter White was there, and said, "Oh, you'll get somebody to cover your show," and oh boy, that worked really well, didn't it?
It was a terrible scandal. The entire city was engulfed in scandal and in sour cream. Taco Gate.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That wasn't a classic. That wasn't a good move.
Would you say, EZG, if you were to try to rank them, would you say that is at the top of the list of your greatest public humiliations?
Yeah, probably right. Probably was.
I suspected as much. Yeah. Pretty bad. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think I made it up for it in the relay, though. Oh my God.
Oh, yes. Update us, because we didn't get a chance to
Well,
talk
I threw some
yesterday.
money of my own money, on the stimulus money in there yesterday. Some other money I had put aside.
Yep.
And then a friend of mine gave me $17. So I threw in another $160. And I think I'm the top person right now.
So what's
I know
your?
my friend of mine's raised over 1,000 too.
So what are you at now?
I just spoke to somebody from the relay today, and she's going to bring over a sign. I got to get permission from the guy that runs his place. But if he says okay, I can put a sign out. I think with my name on it. Says the relay fundraiser person. I think it might even have my name on it. Out on the lawn.
Yes. No, you've done
And then
phenomenally
when
well.
then when the relay comes, I can just bring it back and give it to her. So.
And what is the total currently, Eric? What are you at?
I
right
think it's
now?
$2,001.
2001. Fantastic.
I know. I'm getting mail delivered to my door here. Here we go.
And oh, you're getting mail right now? Oh.
Oh, right through the door because I don't have a mailbox, so the guy delivers it.
You may
under the
already.
door. He knocks on the door and gives it to me.
You may already be a winner. Now,
Yeah.
so you've already, so your new goal is 2,500, correct?
Yeah, at the end of the month, who knows? Who knows?
Well, no.
And if I do, I get another.
We
I get
know.
another
We do
light
know.
jacket.
You'll do
It
it.
says $2,500 on it.
Really? Oh, very cool. No,
Yeah.
you've got about another month, right? So I think you'll.
Oh, yeah, anything's possible.
You'll. Oh,
Anything
you'll.
is possible.
Well,
That's what Kevin Garnett said when the
let's-
Celtics won their championship back in the day. He yelled it out because he was
Yes.
always a loser in Minnesota Timberwolves, and he yelled it out like 12 times.
I'd like to
Anything
throw.
is possible.
I'd like to
It
throw.
was like 2:00 in the morning,
Yes. Let's
listening to all the post game and stuff, and oh my God, it was so fun.
Let's throw a little bit more positive energy at it than that, Eric. Not this anything is possible stuff. It is going to happen. I truly believe it. It is going
All right,
to
that'd
happen.
be great. Well, yeah, Kevin Garnett was so happy that he won
Yeah.
the championship with the Celtics because
Yeah.
he was always on the Timberwolves, and they were a lousy team.
Yeah, I love a good sports reference.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Now, Now, how do people donate EZG to the
Oh yeah,
relay?
you
the
can go right
relay for life?
on your Facebook, Matt Connarton on Unleashed there.
Yes.
If they so choose, and they can go to my Relay for Life post, and they can hit the donate button. That would be great.
Yes. And
I've raised so much money already. It's just a lot of it's been my money, but half of it has been somebody else's money, which is great.
And this is to raise money for cancer
The
research.
American Cancer Society. Yeah.
For the American
And
Cancer
you're going to be
Society.
there too.
Yes. What is the
With
date again?
Jenny, which is a 2-time cancer survivor.
Yes, I have some news about that, by the way, for those who didn't see her post earlier on
I saw that. Yeah,
Facebook.
I'll let
Yes.
you announce it. Yep.
Yep. But when you're off the phone, I'll do it. But
That's fine.
yeah. But yeah.
I saw the post. That was great.
So
Great news.
so Jenny's going to walk in the relay, and I'm going to walk as well. I just have to sign up. I will participate as a caregiver, and we're very excited
Right. She
about
always
that.
goes first. The caregivers go first. So.
Oh. Well, as we should.
That's the owner of being. I mean, the caregivers and the cancer survivors, they always walk first.
Oh, I did find it a little strange that you were putting the caregivers ahead of the cancer survivors, but
I think you walk together. I think.
Well, that's what I assumed would be happening. Yes.
You can even hold hands if you want.
Ooh, well, we are both vaccinated.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not big on holding hands, man.
Well, how do you know?
I haven't held anybody's hand in a long time since
Wow.
the age of COVID.
Now, well, hold on now. Who was the last person's hand that you
I think
held?
it was my ex-wife years ago.
Oh, your ex-wife, Holly. Holly?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and Holly holding hands. Oh, what a nice. Well, if I knew what she looked like, it would be a nice image. Yeah. Is that? I think that's nice. Would you hold hands often?
It all depends on what mood we were in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Was she clean? Did she keep her hands nice and clean for you?
Most of the time, I think so. Yeah.
Good.
She was. Yeah.
She kept her
Unless
hands.
She was out in the garden.
Well, how did you let her go, Easy G? She kept her hands nice
She
and
let
clean.
me go.
That's a good woman. I know, but you obviously messed up really bad. So I mean, how could you let that happen?
we were both in a toxic relationship at that
Uh-huh. But with clean hands, though, I mean, that's something.
point. Yeah.
That's something.
We both had our issues.
Sounds like
That's for
nobody's
sure.
hands are truly clean. Is what you're
As
saying.
you know, it's not easy getting along with a lady of the opposite. Not easy getting along with the opposite sex in a household.
I don't find it that difficult. I don't think I'd
Well, sometimes it can be difficult.
be there if it was. Well, I mean, at
At
times,
least it
of
was
course,
for me,
for
I
sure.
guess.
I guess for you it was. You know what it is, EZG? You're not meant to be tied down. You're a big celebrity. You should be out there.
Well, I wasn't back then.
You
I
should.
was just Derek Jackson.
You should. Be looking to mingle. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy.
What's your vaccination status again? I forget. Are you fully vaxxed?
Oh yeah, I go Monday. Yeah, so I'm a little nervous about that. So we'll
Why?
see what happens. Hopefully, there won't be any bad issues.
What do you think will happen?
I don't know. I would love to sleep for 12 hours like you did. That would be great.
Yeah, it wasn't so great for me because what happens is I wake up hating myself because I have a lot to do.
Oh,
and
I would
slept-
love myself if I did that. 'Cause
Oh.
I can't sleep. I can't sleep for. Well, I did sleep for 6 hours yesterday, but
Yeah.
that's very unusual. And it was bad sleep because then I was up all night. So
Why do you have trouble sleeping?
well, my health issues and my rib problems and.
Your rib.
Parkinson's problems, bipolar problems.
Wait, your rib
They all
still.
get in your way of sleep.
I forgot about your rib. Your rib still. Is your rib still?
Yeah, still having problems with one.
Oh God.
I went to the doctor the other day, and if anybody likes to listen to my problems, and I'm gonna get another test. I said, well, it's not gonna be a long one. No, just 5-minute test, and it'll be a 3D test, and to see what's really
3D.
wrong. Because the other test is you get an X-ray, you really can't tell 100% what's wrong. There's a possibility my rib could still be broken after 7 months.
Wow.
Because unfortunately, it could be.
Yeah.
But we're gonna find out what's going on so we can go to the next step. 'Cause I already got a pain shot. It didn't do any good.
I bet the 3D test though will be kind of exciting. It'll be like the test is coming
Yeah, sure.
It's coming right at you.
We're gonna play the waiting game though. The insurance usually takes 10 days for business days to cover it. They're more likely to cover it, but they make you wait 10 days for it. It's like the MRI.
Now, have you looked into?
It's a game they play. If you don't want to wait, you can pay full price. But I don't want to do that.
Now I know there's probably a waiting list or some sort of registry. But have you looked into possibly getting a rib transplant?
But it's awful though because it's been 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
There's ribs. That definitely gets in the way of sleeping because you can't. It just wakes you up, and then once you're woken up at like at midnight or 12 or 1 o'clock, you're all done.
What if you put a Band-Aid on your ribs or something?
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do for it, though.
Oh,
unfortunately, when you break a rib, there's nothing really you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, there was somebody that called the station up the other day. They said they broke a rib.
Well,
I forget who that was.
As I mentioned the other day, Hulk Hogan, during his match with The Rock, I believe it was at WrestleMania 18, he had a broken rib.
Your show or Peter's show, somebody called up and said they broke a rib. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's an old saying, Easy G, sometimes you break a rib.
Right. I think it was one of the listeners told me on Facebook a while back. This was last year. They said, if you're in pain, you're alive.
Oh, that's true.
When I was complaining about my rib problems.
If you're in pain, you're alive.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I got all these health issues that get in the way. These 3 problems: bipolar disorder, Parkinson's disorder, and this crazy rib problem.
Wait.
That's a trifecta of problems.
Wait, you're bipolar?
Oh, yeah. That gets in the way of your sleep, too.
I never knew that. This is the first I'm hearing of this. You're bipolar?
Yeah.
No kidding. Huh.
Yeah, I blame that on my ex-wife.
You think your ex-wife made you bipolar?
Right.
What'd she forget to wash her hands?
It's not her fault. I think I was bipolar my whole life. But it wasn't never diagnosed until 2005.
Mm-hmm.
But that was on some medicine. That medicine made me sick. So now I'm on another medication. I don't know if it's doing 100% good, but who knows? It's a daily battle.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea you were bipolar. Never knew that.
That's not good.
No, it's not good.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
No, it sounds terrible. I've known.
When someone does a bad thing, I know you hear that on the news all the time. Well, the guy wasn't taking his bipolar medication, which is always BS. They're just like bad.
Yeah.
You shouldn't blame it on bipolar.
No, I have someone in my family who's bipolar. It's it's terrible. I mean,
I believe one of my family members is bipolar.
Yeah.
It can run in the family, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tony D is bipolar. Tony D is in the chat room. He says he is bipolar, and there
way.
And there are meds to help with the sleep.
Oh yeah, I take it, but sometimes when you have all these other health problems, it gets in the way.
You got the broken rib.
Oh, yeah, I can still have that broken rib. I don't know what's going on. If I got some nerve problems, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna try to get to the bottom of it, as the old story goes.
Yes.
If it's not something, it's something. I don't mean to call the station and just complain about my problems.
No, that's okay.
No, I don't think anybody wants to hear about them.
Actually, it was interesting to learn. I didn't know you were bipolar.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I am, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I can understand why Tony D is, because he seems to have some issues with his health, too. Unfortunately. Like I said, I don't wish that on anybody.
No. Well,
it's a daily battle,
the podcast that he and Brian Mackey do together, No More Excuses, they discuss a lot of this stuff, mental health issues and.
Yeah, I know. My ex-wife gave me a book. I've read it a couple of times. It's all about bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they tell you is to try to get proper sleep. Tell me about it.
Yeah. They recommend that for everybody, but yeah, that's that can
right,
be.
Daryl Dragon Dino was telling me don't sleep during the day, but sometimes when you're so tired, you can't help yourself with sleeping.
Oh yeah.
You sleep 6 hours and you take your medicine and go to bed. It's like 2 hours later you're go wide awake. It's like this is crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired right now.
Yeah, so it would be great if I get the second shot. I sleep for 12 hours. That would be great.
Yes.
I have a feeling it's not going to happen. Or
No,
just a sore arm.
it might. It might give you a good reset, a hard reset, as we say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great, you know?
Yeah.
I've heard other people unfortunately get sick from it and stuff, and I wouldn't want that, a fever and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wish myself any reactions, honestly. But
Well, that'd be,
if I did get a reaction, 12 hours of sleep, that would be excellent.
It'd be pretty bizarre if you wished yourself any problems. That'd be a very strange thing to do.
Right, but I wish I could get 12 hours of sleep, though. That would be great.
Yes. I wish that for you, EZG.
I know a friend of mine, she ended up getting COVID. It's like everybody seemed to get COVID all of a sudden. When it got really bad last winter, and she was so sick, she said she told me she was in bed for 10 days.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's nothing to fool with. Nothing to fool with. Not. No. But, you might find tonight when you lay down to go to sleep that you just drift off to sleep and get a nice restful sleep.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I haven't done that all year.
Well, you might find that happens to you tonight. Without even having to really think about it. It just sort of happens.
Yeah, well, maybe when I get there, I'll ask Polly C, the old Hopwood, can I lay down on the couch? Oh, boy. No, I better not. What if he's listening, though? Like I always say, right? You never know who's listening.
Well,
so forget that, Paul. I'm not going to lay down.
You might find that you got yourself
I can't believe Hoppy said
sleep.
that. I guess he's back in town now. Maybe I don't know if he's still back in town. I get a Facebook message the other day saying I was wondering if he could do your 3 o'clock show. He says, I'm in New Mexico, so I don't know if he's still there or not.
He's very mysterious.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
That's for sure.
By the way,
I'm going to clear the line, so I told everybody all my deep, dark secrets. So.
No, that's what, you know what? We always learn something new.
I think Peter White already knew that anyway. So.
About your being bipolar?
I think he knew. Well, if he doesn't know now, he knows now if he's listening.
All right. I'm a
like I said, it's nothing I wish on anybody,
Well, I would hope not.
It's a daily struggle.
That would make you kind of a crappy person.
I take medication for it, obviously. So.
Yes. I think you're going to find yourself getting a nice rest tonight.
All right. I think if I get rid of this rib problem, I think I could sleep better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mike Pelopita in the chat room suggests for Friday night, if Eric falls asleep, just prop him up like they did in Weekend at Bernie's. That's a good idea.
Oh, I know. Oh, I was going to say something else, but it came to my head, but I'm not going to say it because it's too dark. Maybe for your Matt Connarton Unleashed on cot there. What do we call that? Crazy show. At 3 a.m.
Matt Connarton Unsheathed. Yes, that's
right. That would be a great conversation. I was thinking in my head, but I said, I'm not going to say that on the radio.
Yeah.
Because it would definitely it would not be appropriate. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
All right, so great. Send me that number there, and I'll write it down on a big piece of paper so I don't lose it.
You got it. Sounds like a plan.
I think about showing up, 7:15, 7:20. Would that be good for the Poly-C Retro Spectral Radio?
Yeah, that's perfect. But it's Retro Spectrum, not Retro Spectral.
Right, because I have a feeling that the Poly-C would not want me to be there half an hour early. That's the feeling I have.
Yeah, I mean, 7:15.
Because he's getting all the stuff ready. Sometimes I would show up. Back in the day, I would show up like 40 minutes early for the PY Morning Show and ask him all these questions. He said, save it for the radio.
Yes. Well,
so I tend not to do that anymore. I tend to show up like 15 minutes early. That way, I tend to leave him alone and save it for the radio because he's getting stuff ready. He's getting all his.
That's right.
All his figures and whatever he does, get all his stuff ready.
All
the
his
behind
figures.
The microphone.
He's got facts and figures.
And if I'm talking to him all these questions and I'm saying all the stuff I'm going to say on the radio, he said, always save it for the radio.
Yes. Save it for the radio.
I've been saying that for 5 years. I think I'm finally clicking on that because if you say anything in the first 10 minutes you walk in, what are you going to say during the show?
Exactly.
Right. All right. So thank you very much. I'm gonna hang up now.
All right, Eric. Thank you for the call. Bye. All right. EZG Eric Gagnon leaves us. That does open up a line for you. 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. By the way, I should clarify for anyone who doesn't know what we were talking about. I know sometimes with Eric, Rob Dion was even commenting in the chat room on the Facebook. It was a little hard to follow along sometimes with him. Eric will be here Friday night for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. He will be joining Paul and I and our friend Dan Randlett. Eric will be the first official guest on Retro Spectrum Radio. DJ Steve doesn't count as a guest because when he's been here, he's been filling in the capacity of guest co-host for weeks when our friend Dan couldn't be here. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Or you may think of me today as Mr. Gandhi.
Wow. I pronounce it Gandhi, but Archie Bunker on All in the Family used to pronounce it Gandhi.
Perhaps. And, of course, the true Mr. Gandhi, the original Mahatma, took many marches, as you have been discussing, and I honor, as I believe he would honor, your cancer marching.
Wow. Well, thank you. This sounds like Dave Ridley. Is this Dave?
It does. It does. And that is his other name.
Ah, I knew it. I knew it all along.
So I have a march of my own to announce, if I may.
You may. You don't have to keep up the accent, but you can if you want. It is kind of fun.
Well, once the character has been adopted, it is not well dropped.
I understand. Yes. Well, very good. Well, please march on. Or tell
as
us
you
about
are
it.
surely aware, there has been a vicious federal series of attacks against Bitcoiners, physical attacks in New Hampshire, including the seizure of perhaps 15 Bitcoin machines, we believe. And you have followed that and covered it to your credit. And in protest of these raids, I am reenacting the original Mahatma's Salt March, and will end it at the federal building by violating federal policy on federal property.
Okay. Violating how? Will you be having a hunger strike?
I will attempt to deliver to the federal employees, any who may be outside, a copy of my concerns about their Bitcoin raids. I will deliver a piece of paper with grievances upon it, and I am eager to add your grievances as well, if you wish, or any who wish to have their grievances addended. I will attempt to hand this to federal officials, or perhaps leave it on a doorway or on the property in some location, in violation of a federal speech restriction 102-74.415, prohibiting the distribution of handbills.
Ah, yes. Well, you are truly a revolutionary, Mr. Gandhi. That's exciting. I don't have any grievances to add. I actually save my grievances for the airing of grievances every holiday season.
At Festivus.
I'm a big fan. Yes.
Well, I am inviting your listeners to march with me, or if they wish, they, I suppose, may assassinate me during the trip.
Oh, no!
Mahatma was assassinated later.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want to invite anyone to assassinate you, sir, Mr. Gandhi, sir. No.
One cannot be a Mahatma without being assassinated, so it is probably best if I do not become one.
That's unfortunate.
But,
jeez, wow. Okay. Well,
but the plan is to do as the Mahatma did and march for 24 days, and sleeping in the out of doors each night, and attempting to visit as many sites as practical during that time. I suppose I may visit police departments and deliver them a request that they cease their cooperation with the central government on victimless crime arrests.
Yes. Well, all right. Well, very good. Well, Mahatma, I'm not. I don't know much about Bitcoin, to be honest with you, but I do oppose arresting people for victimless crimes such as gambling, prostitution, and of course, I oppose the drug war virulently. So, if you'd like to add that to the list of grievances, feel free. But it sounds like you've got this. It sounds like you've got this expedition well in hand.
The the matter will only be truly successful if others are involved. I can only do a small amount myself, and I
Yes.
am not a Mahatma. The original Mahatma said that he was not a Mahatma and would not be considered a Mahatma unless he were assassinated and welcomes the bullet with the word of God on his lips, which he did do at his death.
Yes, yes. Well, I once again, though, I would just stress we do not wish you to be assassinated, sir. Well, very good. And when is this happening again?
I will be leaving from Keene on May the 9th,
Mm-hmm.
arriving, if all goes halfway as planned, at the Concord Federal Building on June the 2nd, whereupon I will attempt to illegally distribute the handbills.
Very good. Very good.
Although it is technically not a violation of law, rather one of federal policy.
Yes, yes. So
I have been arrested for this once before, and so
Really?
have more familiarity with the matter than most.
no kidding. All right, all right. Well, very good, very good. Well, we wish you luck with that. We wish you well and safety. Safety. We do not want any assassinations. And is there any while we have you on the line, sir? Before you go, any particular website you'd like to plug?
You may follow these activities at bitcoingandhi.net.
Mm-hmm.
And Gandhi is spelled Gandhi. The H is at the end.
Very good. Very good.
bitcoingandhi.net. I have established a live streaming capability of some sort, and am refining it. Hope to be live streaming my ordeal from the field.
All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for the call, and I hope you'll keep us updated, Mr. Gandhi.
That is my hope as well. Thank you for your time, Mr. Connarton.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right. Bye-bye. Safe travels.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Wow. All right. I'm going to look at that. So forgive me if you'll all indulge me. I'm just curious here. BitcoinGandhi.com? Did he say .com or .net? I can't find it. I'll look for it later. I'm just very curious. Okay, wow, that was a surprising call. Well, that opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007. Oh, and we have another call. Very busy show today. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this? Hello? I think it's the Phantom. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I hear something. I hear something in the background. What's going on there? Did somebody pocket dial me, perhaps? Because that does happen.
Hello?
Hello?
Hoorah!
Oh, I know that hoo-ah. I thought it was one of those mysterious, creepy calls for a second there. It's Tony D. What's going on, Tony?
Is it done? Is it over?
Is what over?
Can we breathe?
Bitcoin Gandhi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
breathe?
Yes.
Oof. Oh man.
Like the song says,
Okay.
just breathe.
I came close to like contemplating whether or not I wanted to try crucifixion on myself. Oof.
I
was rough.
don't think self-crucifixion is a thing. I don't know how you would physically do that. I don't think you can.
You start with the feet, you go to the one hand, and then you get help with the other hand.
What? That's cheating. If you get help, it's not self. Aha.
Yeah,
See?
maybe a nail gun.
Nah, no. It's
Maybe
not.
a nail
No,
gun.
that's
All
cheating.
right, let's get down to business. Let's
Yeah.
I got stuff to talk about.
Okay.
I got good stuff to talk about.
Ooh, good
So
stuff.
New York is uplifting their mandates on May 19th completely.
Yes, I
Broadway
saw
is
that.
coming-
Yeah.
Broadway is coming back. I feel as if that, as we talked yesterday, this is a little bit too soon to be doing it just 100% right away.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? to jump right into it and just have Broadway reopen on May 19th. It's a little bit quick.
Do you know? So I saw this, but there's something I didn't get a chance to look at it closely enough. So there's something about this I'm not clear about. Are they? Well, two things I'm not clear about actually. One is, are they actually opening at full capacity everywhere?
Full capacity.
But will masks still be required indoors?
That wasn't even said today.
Hmm.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know on that part. We know that they're opening up 100% capacity for everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Yankee Stadium, the Broadway shows, 100% for everything.
See,
So nothing was said.
Yankee Stadium, I would be a lot less concerned about because it's outdoors. But let's see. So I just pulled it up here. So Politico.com reports New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut ending most restrictions on May 19th.
Well, New Jersey, don't. New Jersey's only going to like 55% May 19th. That they're only going to 55%. They're not. New Jersey. I think I said it yesterday. Like Pennsylvania, New York, I think Connecticut. They're all on this 100% relief, relieving like everything, the mandate.
Yeah.
Jersey is still holding on to this 55% outdoors. You can be 100% outdoors, but anything indoors, you're at 55%. Which I agree with. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a smart move. Like you're doing it slowly. I like that.
It says
like
it says here, Tony, on May 19, most capacity restrictions will end across the tri-state region. Offices, restaurants, museums, and theaters will no longer be subject to capacity limits, though they will need to maintain 6-foot social distancing requirements recommended by the CDC. So they're following the CDC guidance, and social distancing is still going to be required.
But I heard. But does it say on there that they're pushing it down from 6 to 3?
It doesn't.
That's what I heard. I heard the social distancing was going down to 3 foot.
Well, you bring up
3 feet.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because they did. I think the CDC did revise their social distancing from 6 to 3 feet, but according to this, they will still, at least in New York, they will still be required to maintain 6-foot social distancing. But it kind of doesn't matter, does it really? Because if everybody's going to full capacity, then
you're going to be on top of one another.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was listening to Howard Stern the other day, and Robin Quivers was talking about how she had gone to a museum recently, and it was one of her first times venturing out now that she's fully vaxxed and whatnot. And she was saying at the museum that she went to, they do this thing where they'll only let a certain number of people in at noon, and then they'll only let a certain people in at 1 and a certain number of people at 2 to try to stagger it. But because people don't leave, because when someone goes to a museum, they like to go there for an extended period of time and really spend some time. So what ended up happening was they had all these people, on top of each other, and it got to a point where there was no social distancing. So so I think,
and you're gonna, and that's expected.
Yeah,
right. I mean, like as an establishment, you got to expect that. That's like going to like Disney World. You know, you're going to go to Disney World. And what do you think? You're going to this whole new thing that Disney World is going to do is like do everything on a time frame. You got to schedule what time you want to go to each park. What do you think? Those people are going to leave after 2 hours is up? It takes a lot. If you've ever been to Disney World, 2 hours is not enough in one park. You can spend a whole day in a park, and just because you have time slots, you're going to be on top of one another when you're waiting in line.
Yep.
I mean, I get it. You're outside. I get it.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be on top of one another. You're not going to avoid this.
Yeah.
So like you said, like, is there really a point? You know, that's where my head goes. Like, is there really a point in going from 6 feet to 3 feet when you're just going to be on top of one another regardless?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, you know, Disney World is another example, as you said, where people are outside and I you know, I know they're requiring masks. I saw our friend Charles Richardson had posted something the other day about you saw it, I'm sure, the picture of the guy who took off his mask and was being really disrespectful to the employees there. But they are still requiring masks, and and surface transmission, it turns out, is not a thing really. So it's probably pretty safe there, but but I'm nervous. I mean, you know me, Tony. I've been as hawkish on COVID as anybody, and I've come in here 2 hours a day for the past year and complained about people not taking it seriously enough. So I'm nervous.
I mean, here's where I'm at. I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated. Jenny's vaccinated. Brian's vaccinated. We're all vaccinated. The majority of the chat room is vaccinated.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes to a point where we're like, we did what we were supposed to do. So should we just go back to just living our life? Should we just go back to just living our life and follow what the CDC is saying? But even if we go somewhere that's overcapacitated, and do we get worried about it being overdrawn with 1 million people there, or do you just sit back and say, well, you know what, I did what I was supposed to. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
And not worry about it. See, their fear is that the people that aren't getting vaccinated are going to cause this outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, if you're vaccinated, is it really bothering your brain right now, thinking that you're going to get really sick? That's the key point. It's like, if you go to a concert or you go to a Broadway thing, is it really going to be bothersome if you're amongst 500 people and you're vaccinated? My thing is like, is it Broadway going to let you back in if only you're vaccinated, or are you allowing, with the mandate, the mandate is 100%, anyone can go? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Do you have to be vaccinated to go to Broadway, or can vaccinated people and non-vaccinated people go to Broadway? And I'm not trying to put this communist type of feel to it where we're being controlled, but what's the rules? Because it's a little bit too soon. I'm ready to go to a concert, but I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be safe before I go to a concert and just know, all right, you're lifting this whole thing. There's going to be, just say, 16,000 people that can come into this venue. What are the rules?
Mm-hmm.
What are the rules? How do you 6 foot, 3 foot distance?
Oh yeah, there's
16,000 people.
You can't. You can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
So it's like shooting from the hip right now. I mean, you see it in India. They're amongst one another. Look what's happening down there.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they're all piling on top of one another, and they're all getting extremely sick.
Yep.
We're we're vaccinated, so are we okay? Do we have enough study to show that we're okay?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much theory that goes into this where you're like the questions just start going. Is it okay to go to a concert?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know it's okay to go to a concert? How do you know it's okay to go to Disney World? How do you know that?
Yeah.
We really don't know, Matt. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, is that safe to say that we don't know yet?
We're in a very strange phase of this now, because it's the president announced this new goal. He wants 70% of the country vaccinated, at least with the first dose, by July 4th. But and that's how we're going to get to herd immunity with this. But what I suspect, and I don't mean to be so pessimistic and cynical, and by the way, there's been other points where I've been pessimistic and cynical and was proven wrong. So maybe I'll be proven wrong on this too, but I don't think we're going to get to herd immunity, because I just think there's too many anti-vaxxers in the country.
You got 18% of people not getting the second shot.
Yeah. A lot of people are skipping the second shot, which is just baffling to me.
Because once, like I said yesterday, once that J&J thing happened, it was like a 30% decrease in people going to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And everyone got fear-mongled, and it was, once the news broke on it, that kind of took the wind out of the sail.
Yeah.
Took the wind. I mean, there was another 230,000 people that got vaccinated or something like that over the last 2 weeks here. So it doesn't seem to be slowing down here, which is good. But you're at 7,400,000 people that have been vaccinated with the first shot here. but it says that fully vaccinated is only 3 million people.
We may have to, what I suspect will happen. Jenny and I were talking about this earlier too. So I think she agrees. But what I suspect will happen is there will come a point where this summer where we're going to have to accept that COVID is here to stay because we're not going to get to herd immunity. So what instead will have to happen is those of us who take it seriously, those of us who follow the science, those of us who believe in these vaccines, it's probably going to be a yearly thing. We're going to have to, just like the flu shot, if you're someone who gets the flu shot, you know, we're going to have to get vaxxed every year for COVID. And you know, those who don't want to participate, those who don't want to take it seriously, those who don't trust the vaccines, et cetera, that will have to be their risk to take. And it's unfortunate because people are going to die. Every year people are going to die who didn't have to die. But I think it's going to come to that point where people are just going to have to decide for themselves. And I'm okay with that in one sense, as long as those of us who do take it seriously and who do what we need to do to protect ourselves and our loved ones by getting vaccinated, the smart thing, in my opinion, as long as we can do that. And
yeah, you do your part.
Right.
You get your shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your choice. It's your life. It's your body.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like, you know, I'm going to get the vaccine every year. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm saving my own ass, you know, from this time moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
Leave it up to the ones that don't want to get it. That's on you. But don't make it harder for everyone else.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
I think that's where we're going to end up with it, which is unfortunate. I'd rather we get to herd immunity and hopefully get rid of this, like we did polio, for example, with vaccines. We eradicated polio. We can also eradicate COVID-19, but I just don't think we're going to get there. So, you know, but the next best thing is everyone who does take it seriously and wants to be able to protect themselves can protect themselves. And that might be as good as it's going to get, but it's better than nothing. I'll take it. I'll take it.
And for Easy G, living with bipolar.
Yeah, that was
number one.
That was a new revelation. I had no idea he was bipolar.
Oh, dude, you know, 60% of the population in the world is bipolar, and they just don't know about it. You kidding me? That's a proven study. That's a proven
Really?
Johnson. Oh yeah. There's 60% of the population in the world is bipolar. They just don't. It's either you're bipolar 1, you're bipolar 2, or you're on the spectrum of bipolar. You know, bipolar shows its symptoms in different ways. It doesn't just doesn't mean that you're angry. You know, you could be talkative. You don't listen. You don't pay attention. You're very jittish. You know, the symptoms and the list goes on and on and on with bipolar. It just doesn't mean that you're angry and you flick a switch.
Yeah.
They actually compare bipolar to ADHD because they're so close to comparison that they misdiagnose people so many times because ADHD is right on the spectrum of the same symptoms as bipolar disorder. So you got your bipolar 1, you got your bipolar 2, you got your bipolar spectrum. You know, you got all different types of bipolar. But the number one symptom of bipolarness is a racing mind, which is you're constantly always in thought, which takes away that chemical balance in your brain, which allows you to have your melatonin, which allows you to go to sleep. So the next thing that happens is you begin to get insomnia because of the racing mind, because your brain just won't shut down, which then leads to sleep deprivation, which then leads to health issues later down the line because your lack of sleep. So there's, you know, I learned all this over the years of being diagnosed bipolar. There's ways to treat the insomnia. I suffered from insomnia until I got on one medication, a low dose of a medication that I take every night before bed, and just like that, boom, clear mind. You know, I went MIA for a little bit once I started my medication, and it really helped. Gave me a clearer mind, gave me more of an output on life, gave me more of a understanding of things, and it helped me go back to sleep. And then next thing you know, my physical symptoms of being sleep deprived went away once I got adequate sleep. So there's ways of treating it. It's just that you got to be persistent with it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Mm-hmm.
But there's ways of treating bipolar disorder, especially later in life when you just find out that you have it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting stuff. I wish I went to school for psychology.
Well, you still could. It's not too late.
No.
You could.
Nope. I'm not going back to school to be anything but me right now.
I'm just saying you could.
Maybe I'll go to wrestling school and become a wrestler or something. I don't know.
There you go.
So
you could do that.
That's all I got. That's all I got. I'm going to go protest at the post office on Sunday in my Speedo, so I'll be there. Guys can catch me there. I'll be waving at nobody. So
all right. Hey, give while you're on the line, you should give No More Excuses a plug.
Yeah, No More Excuses coming to you every Sunday morning, uploaded Sunday evening. We talk about everything from daily politics to mental health issues, a lot of mental health talk, to just everyday life, So you give it a shout. You can find us on the YouTube, Spotify. Type in No More Excuses, and we'll pull right up for you.
Absolutely. All right, Tony D, thank you for the call, my friend. Always love to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for wearing my shirt, my old school shirt.
Absolutely. I wear it with pride. Love it.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
my friend.
All right, man.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. All right, that was our friend Tony. Yeah, referring to the shirt, for anyone who doesn't know, if you're watching online, this is a show that Tony used to do. Actually, I'm wearing a lot of Tony today, if you think about it, because the Tony D podcast is a show that Tony used to do, and he sent me a shirt for the show. But I'm also wearing the No More Excuses hat, which Brian Mackey sent to me, and Tony does that show with Brian. So I'm representing Tony D today. But yes, I love when people send me stuff I can wear and kind of help promote them on my show and so forth. So I like to do that. But it is the top of the hour. Let's play a couple things, and then we'll show some love to our sponsors to pay the bills, as they say. And then we will be back. More Unleashed coming up. I'm going to the discussion there with Tony D about insomnia inspired me. I'm going to play this, a little self-serving, if you will indulge me. Jenny and I were talking about this too the other day. A little band I used to be in called The Jinxed, and we had a song called Insomnia. So I think we should hear a little bit of that going into the break. I played bass on this, and then we'll come back and we will chat some more. I will see you on the other side in hour number 2. More Unleashed coming up. Don't go away. Everybody, welcome back. We are into hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And, of course, you can go to mattconnerton.com for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, phone numbers, email, etc. And, of course, hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online on this Wednesday, May 5, 2021. Cinco de Mayo, they call it. I say they because I don't really even think of that unless someone reminds me. Anyway, I will remind you that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. They do have delicious gourmet pretzels. They have craft beer. They have wine. They've got the, if you haven't seen it yet, they've got the beautiful outdoor setup with the terrace going on over there, and it's really cool. Today is not really a day for that necessarily because it's kind of rainy and crappy out, but we have had a lot of really nice weather lately, and I know people have been really enjoying it over there, eating outside and whatnot, and it's a wonderful place, a great family that owns and operates it, and we're very happy to have them as a sponsor. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's ECG. Hey, to follow up with Tony D, what he said. It's funny because when you have the bipolar, it seems like you either get too much sleep or no sleep. I remember a couple of summers ago, was sleeping like too many hours.
Really?
So it's trying to find the equilibrium. Either you sleep too much or you don't sleep at all. So.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like your librium needs to be more balanced.
Right. Right.
Yes.
But yeah, someone was saying the other day. Oh, I think it was Peter White or Daryl was saying that they do that other job, the hypnotist. Now, do you do something for people that can't sleep properly?
Oh yeah, hypnotherapy is very useful for that. Absolutely.
Really?
Oh yes, absolutely,
wow.
Eric. You might find
Maybe
that
I
it's.
have to talk to you off the air about that then.
You might find that you will want to talk to me off the air, won't you? I think so.
Yeah, we won't talk about business on the air. But it's funny because I get this new cable box now, and I say, well, if I'm up at all hours of the night, I've watched WrestleMania 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I watched 6 or 7. I watched 2 WrestleManias last night.
Wow.
And it's so funny because a lot of those guys, come on out. It's like, oh my God, that announcer or that wrestler is no longer with us.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like playing the dead game.
There's an entire generation of wrestlers who died late 30s to mid 40s.
Too, Gorilla Monsoon and the.
No, but I mean, there's a lot of those guys who had used anabolic steroids, which is why.
Yeah, Macho Man. I've forgotten that he used to be an announcer.
Oh, Macho Man was fantastic. I mean, he's my favorite wrestler of all time.
About all that,
but he was also great as
a
color
commentator. I watched the one last night from Las Vegas when Hogan won that belt like 10 seconds with Yokozuna.
Oh, that was awful. That was one of the worst endings for WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah,
ever.
I hear you. I saw it again. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, that was a terrible.
Those were the days where Hogan won everything. He never lost. And
Hulkamania was running wild.
He was in good runnings with Vince McMahon.
Yes.
I was watching the first wrestler, it was only an hour, the first Monday Night Raw. I forgot that Vince McMahon was the announcer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Vince was the lead announcer for a long time until they revealed that he actually.
I think a lot of people didn't know
company.
that he ran the whole thing back in the day. It was like a fourth wall.
Until he emerged as the evil Mr. McMahon character.
Right, but he was really good doing that announcing. Of course, he was younger then.
He was all right. He didn't know the names of a lot of the moves, so he would say things like "What a maneuver!" and "Look at that, Bobby the Brain Heenan."
Oh, yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Oh, my God, yeah. I forgot how good that guy was.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He hated Hogan.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just funny watching those old WrestleMania. And with the new Peacock thing, I don't know if you have that, but
yes, we have
you can
that.
stop it. You can stop it. If you need to go to the bathroom, you can just stop it.
Right. You can pause, yes.
Do you have the Peacock?
Yes, we have the Peacock Network. We had to get it to watch. We wanted to watch this year's one of the matches on this year's WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. I got to go down to the cable company on Wednesday and get that set up so I can get the WrestleMania WWE Backlash next Sunday.
Oh yes. By the way, Scott Robinson.
I think I need that set up because I can't listen to the 37 or 36 WrestleManias. That's why I'm stuck with the old guys.
Uh-huh.
I think I need to get that new package.
Scott Robinson in the chat room says
it's only $5 a month. So I say $4.99 a month.
Right.
So it's definitely worth it.
It is. It's a good value.
What is Scott Robinson saying?
Oh, he said in the chat room, "Oh, good, the wrestling report. Who needs entertainment?" He's jonesing, Easy G.
Yeah.
He's jonesing for an entertainment report.
I just take the week off and come back strong with the rock star Katie Dobbins.
Yes, May 13th you're going to be here, right?
And you interviewed her a long time ago, right?
Yeah, a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago. Yeah.
It wasn't on this station though, was it?
No, it was.
Oh, really?
You weren't here that day, but you're the one who connected me with her, and she came in and for an interview. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But then
where was I?
You weren't-
I was the one that connected her with you.
yeah,
Really?
you're the one who introduced us, but then I think you weren't feeling well, so you weren't able to be here.
Oh, where she was in the studio? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Wow.
Yep.
Was this when you just started, like 4 years ago?
No, but it was more than 2 years ago. Might have been 2.5 years ago.
I don't remember that at all. Wow.
I'm not good at time.
All right. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You got a whole new setup now, so I'm not gonna talk about that because I want her to talk about it.
Yes.
I don't want to spill the beans. Like
Right.
the old. Yeah, you don't want to spill the beans.
We don't want.
Why have her on Skype, right?
We don't want spilled beans. No spilled beans. No spilled
Right.
milk.
No egg on your face.
No egg on our faces. We don't want any
Right.
of that.
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna hang up so I don't spill the beans.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Eric. Thank you for the call. Bye-bye. All right, our friend EZG Eric Agnon. Yeah, let's. By the way, we'll mention a couple of programming notes. Yes, Eric will be here with us in studio on May 13th to do his entertainment report live in studio. As of May 10th, which is this coming Monday, it will be 2 weeks since my second shot of the Pfizer vaccine. So at that point, I will be considered fully vaccinated. So we will resume, we'll revert back to the rules of the station. We're not going to go crazy with a bunch of people in here, but we will begin to lift the sort of added self-imposed restriction that I decided on back in the fall when we were entering that terrible winter surge. And I decided I needed a little bit less stress and said, why don't I just kind of set some of my own boundaries here as far as who comes in. So we restricted it at that point to just within the household and within the station. So within the household, just being Jenny and I, and now Christian Lacoste too, because he lives us. And within the station, meaning anyone else who hosts a show here, who's here on a regular basis here at WMNH, like Peter or Rob or the Dions or whomever, Kyle. They could come on during my show. But other than that, no outside guests. That's why I got so upset last week when Stephen Comley Sr. just came walking in here like he owned the place and argued with me when I told him he had to leave. It was very frustrating. But as of May 10th, I will be considered fully vaccinated. So at that point, we'll start to, again, we're not going to go crazy with it, but we'll start to ease into having live guests in the studio again. But yeah, so EZG will be here May 13th on this show. And this Friday night, EZG will be our guest on Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. That starts at 7:30. That runs 7:30 to 10 p.m. right here at WMNH. So that's I have the honor and privilege of being Paul's co-host on that show, along with our great friend Dan Randblett, and EZG Eric Gagnon will be our guest. It'll be the first time having four of us in the studio at the same time during Paul's show. So we look forward to that. Also, one other quick programming note. Tomorrow night, I will be, after this program, I will be on the Dr. Kevin Show, which streams online on the Om Times Radio Network. Om, speaking of hypnosis and meditation, that's Om as in Om, O-M, the omtimes.com, omtimes.com. And the Dr. Kevin Show is every Thursday night from 6 to 7 on Om Times. But the first Thursday of every month, I join Dr. Kevin for a discussion about politics. I call into the show, and it's just for an hour from 6 to 7. But we discuss a lot of what we talk about on this show. We discuss on that show with Dr. Kevin. We really enjoy that discussion. So that will be tomorrow night, as tomorrow is the first Thursday of May. So we look forward to that as well. I wanted to mention, so it's been, and we will, by the way, a lot of great comments today on the Facebook live chat. We will get to those. I do want to say hello to everybody in there, but it's been a very busy show. Been a very busy day. Woo, I'm tired. I actually had to lay down and take a nap right before the show. It was hard getting back up. I don't usually do that, but I was running on just a few hours sleep because, so today, and Jenny posted this on her personal page. And Jenny, if you want, feel free to share that to the Unleashed page as well, so our listeners who might not have seen it will see it. Some very good news. But yeah, we were up and out the door very, very early this morning. We had to go to Boston for Jenny's what is supposed to be her 6-month checkup with oncology. in Boston. But this one was delayed. This one was not on schedule because of COVID. So, but she goes for her checkup and all clear. And as she posted on here, it's official. After 8 years, I have graduated from oncology. I am officially in survivorship. So it's a very, very happy day. And I mean, optimistically, we didn't have any reason to think that it was going to be bad news today, but you never know. You never know. Jenny's a 2-time cancer survivor, so you just never know. But like I said, this was not on schedule. It's supposed to be a 6-month checkup, but because of COVID, because of the pandemic and the restrictions, this did not happen when it was supposed to. So, so we went this morning and all good. So now she only has to go once a year instead of every 6 months to just kind of keep an eye on things. So she is officially moved into survivorship. So very, very great thing. And we stopped and got some very unhealthy food to celebrate on the way back because I was starving and she was starving, and we were like, yeah, we got to eat something, but we're also rushing to get back because I needed to lie down for a little bit because I went to bed very late. I'm nocturnal by nature. I tend to be up very late. I've been up particularly late working on something very important, and so I think I was running on about 4 hours sleep. But anyway, so there's that, and there was also something else that I can't really explain on the air yet, but while Jenny was in her appointments, I was working on something I'm excited about, and it looks like it's going to work out really well. It has to do with this other project I've been working on that I can't really talk about yet, but everyone will see it soon. It will be online. But anyway, and it doesn't have anything to do directly to the show, so most of you won't even care. But it's exciting. It's an exciting business thing. Anyway, okay, enough about that. But yeah, so today's a very good day. I will probably lie down again after the show. I am so tired. I feel like I felt after I got my Pfizer vaccine. But yeah, but the good thing is coming in here doing the show gives me an adrenaline boost. So I realized that very early on coming to WMNH, even if I come in here completely exhausted, which is not that unusual because I do stay up very late, partying. No, I'm kidding. Totally. If you know me at all, I am up very late. I'm usually up working. I'm up in front of the computer working. I am very excited though about, Jenny knows what I'm talking about because we were discussing it in the car. Very excited about it. It looks like the thing I was working on, it's going to work out really well. Anyway, let me give the numbers if you'd like to get in with a call. 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can always interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear your dulcet tones is give us a call at 603-250-6007. And it's already 5:24 in the Eastern time zone. So don't wait until the last minute. Call soon. Let's see. We should say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Jenny is in there, of course. Scott Robinson also joins us. I think I mentioned Scott earlier. Rob Dion, who is a top fan and is a part of the WMNH family here, host of Through the Stage Door, and he does the entertainment report on the morning show on Thursday mornings, brings in his keyboard. They do Name That Tune, a very popular segment, and Rob does a great job with that. Let's see. Abigail Jem joins us in the chat room. Hello, Abigail. Mike Pelopita joins us in the chat. Mike, of course, from another one of our wonderful sponsors here at WMNH, Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall. So they're big supporters of all the shows here and of the station. So we appreciate that. Hello, Mike. Tony D. Anthony Richard is in the chat room. Tony, of course, called us earlier. Dan Lavasser joins us in the chat room. Dan says, "Is this the Easy G show?" Well, he has called a couple of times, but he's got a lot to say. He's got a lot to say. Scott Robinson says, "This is a very depressing entertainment report." Well, it wasn't an official entertainment report. You got to wait till May 13th for that one. And that one will be exciting because EZG will be here with us live. Brian Mackey is in the chat room all the way from Idaho. And, of course, Brian and Tony D together, they host No More Excuses. New episode every Sunday morning on the YouTube, and I usually share it out here on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page as well. And for those of you watching online, you can see I'm wearing my No More Excuses hat. I still get compliments like every week. A total stranger, happens at least once a week. A complete stranger will see my hat and compliment me on it. Tony D was commenting in the chat room because, we were talking about with EZG. We learned something new about EZG, or at least it was new to me. I didn't know he was bipolar. Tony D, I did know was bipolar because they discuss a lot of these issues on No More Excuses. But Tony is saying in the chat room, bipolar causes a multitude of symptoms. The number one symptom is a racing mind due to anxiety, which in return causes sleep deprivation, which in return causes serious health issues. Absolutely. Let's see. Melanie La Liberty is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Melanie. Eric Street, who is a top fan, also joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello to Eric. John Hopwood, speaking of John Hopwood, John's name came up earlier. I haven't seen Mr. Hopwood in a while, but, John, if you don't know, you've probably been listening, but as of May 10th, we'll be able to have some, limited capacity, but we will be returning to having live guests in the studio. So I look forward to being able to see you. I haven't seen you in months and months and months. So we look forward to that. John, I think, was objecting to our call earlier from, that was Dave Ridley calling as Mahatma Gandhi. John said, "Isn't dialect considered racist?" It's a thin line. I don't know anymore. It's hard to keep up with what the rules are. Rocky Huber joins us in the chat room. Rocky says, "Let me guess. We all meet at the courthouse on Sunday to protest when it's closed, right?" Rocky referring to, I forgot to ask him. Well, the next time, if Dave calls in actually as Dave Ridley, I will ask him the next time that happens about the, I keep forgetting the protest that our friend Dave was organizing at the post office on a Sunday. Sunday is not really the day you protest in front of a building that's closed, but I guess it was the only day available to Dave. Melanie replied to John Hopwood, "Against robots, not sure what he is shooting for." Tony D said this Ridley dude is smoking the good stuff. Dan Levasseur said, "Wait, another protest at the post office on Sunday?" No, not this time. Let's see. Very busy chat room today. John Hopwood says, "Britain and France inch closer to war?" What? And he shared a link. What is this about? This is from The Guardian. UK sends Navy vessels to Jersey amid post-Brexit fishing row with France. Is this a joke? Boris Johnson dispatches 2 gunboats to protect island from feared blockade. Is this a joke? Says Boris Johnson has dispatched 2 Royal Navy patrol boats to protect Jersey from a feared blockade by French fishing vessels in an escalation of a dispute over post-Brexit access to waters around the Channel Island. The move followed talks on Wednesday evening between the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister of British Crown Dependency. I'm sure I'm going to butcher this. John Le Lafonge. I don't know, who had warned Downing Street of imminent movements by French fishing boats to cut off the island's main port. Jersey's government had already been reeling from comments on Tuesday from France's Minister for Maritime Affairs, not even going to attempt that one, who had warned that the island's electrical supply could be turned off in retaliation over a lack of access for the French fishing fleet to its waters. That's crazy. Oh, there's a long article there, but the our friend John Hopwood did drop the link in the Facebook live chat if you'd like to see it. Melanie says, referring to our conversation with Tony D earlier, just some info. The first self-crucifixion was attempted in 1803. That sounds terrible. Kevin Barlow joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello. Melanie says, and this was talking earlier about, if you missed it, in the first hour, Tony D and I were discussing where do we go as far as restrictions and the lifting of restrictions. And the president announced today, was it today or yesterday he made the announcement? Or maybe it was yesterday about, the new goal is to reach a 70% vaccination rate in terms of having Americans at least vaccinated with the first shot by July 4th, because, we're trying to get to herd immunity, and we were kind of lamenting that herd immunity is probably not going to happen. And we may this summer reach a point where we just have to accept that there are a lot of people who simply are not going to get vaccinated. And because we're not going to reach herd immunity, we're going to have to settle for the next best thing, which is that everyone who does take the pandemic seriously and wants to be vaccinated to protect themselves and protect their loved ones and so on, will be able to do that. And instead of being able to eradicate COVID-19, we may be looking at a scenario, which I think is more likely, where it will be an annual shot, like the flu shot. Every year, you'll be able to get your COVID shot, and COVID will be here to stay, unfortunately. Melanie said, and again, we were talking about, they're lifting restrictions in New York and New Jersey, and what was the other state? Connecticut. They're really lifting a lot of restrictions as of, I think, May 19th was the date. Those three states are working together and doing some coordination on this, which is why they're all doing it on May 19. And we were discussing that. Is this too much, going too quickly? Because capacity restrictions are being lifted, but the 6-foot rule in terms of social distancing will remain in place. But I think we all know that if you if there's no capacity restriction, you're not going to be able to enforce, and no one's going to bother to try, generally, some sort of 6-foot social distancing rule, right? So as we continue to muddle through this, as we're in this strange new phase of the pandemic. But Melanie in the chat room said, if you think the community restrictions are bad, nursing homes are still dealing with a higher level and they are mostly vaccinated. It's getting the community to that point. Miriam Banish is in the chat room. Miriam says, I'm at Fratello's with a friend. We are both fully vaccinated. Excellent. Melanie says, what about the people who support the vulnerable? Are certain professions mandated because it's not just themselves they are risking? Well, I mean, that raises a great point, Melanie. And one of the things that will be interesting to see as we proceed further into this phase of the pandemic is, do some employers try to mandate that their employees have to get vaccinated? Can employers even legally do that? Can you force your employees to get vaccinated or they will be terminated? I don't think we're going to see a lot of that because it's probably untenable. And it is unfortunate that, I mean, look, a lot of healthcare workers, in fact, Mike Doyle had sent me an article about it. You know, there's a lot of healthcare workers who are refusing to get vaccinated. And it's like, you know, and that's been a topic of discussion on the show. We've talked about on the show colleges. And this actually surprised me that this was controversial, but, there are some colleges who are saying, look, if you're going to come back in the fall, you have to be fully vaccinated. You cannot return to campus in the fall. As far as this semester, I think it's a moot point now. It's, middle of May. But you can't come back in the fall unless you're fully vaccinated, which to some turns out to be a controversial stance, which actually surprised me because, look, it was a long time ago, right? But I remember when I was applying to colleges, and I'm sure it's different in different states, but when I was applying to colleges here in New Hampshire or in Massachusetts, back, this was a while ago, one of the requirements was, before I would be allowed to matriculate at any of these schools, was I had to be up to date on my shots. I had to have an up-to-date record from my doctor saying that I had all my necessary vaccinations. So remembering that, I was surprised when some of these colleges started coming out and saying, Scott Robinson in the chat room says, SNU, Southern New Hampshire University, has that vaccination rule for the fall. Yeah. But I was surprised to learn that this was controversial because, to some people, because I thought that's how it worked anyway. I thought to go to college, you had to have all your vaccinations because the last thing anyone wants, well, first of all, the very last thing anyone wants right now is COVID outbreaks at colleges. And we have seen some of that, by the way, of course. But you don't want that continuing in the fall semester. And by the way, another area that has been discussed is the military. There's been talk that President Biden might decide, as commander-in-chief, that for the sake of military readiness and preparedness, and I would agree with this, by the way, this position, requiring members of the military to get vaccinated. And I agree with that. I think it's not only appropriate, I think it's necessary. You can't have, and by the way, I'll be very interested the first time I have an opportunity to have a conversation with a conservative about this, because conservatives, not all, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush, but very often, they don't like, they loved it when Trump on a Friday afternoon issued that seemingly random tweet that blindsided everybody, including the military leadership and the civilian leadership of the military in the administration at the time, when Trump just said, hey, no more trans people in the military. We're not going to allow that anymore. And conservatives like to make the argument, well, you can't have trans people in the military, and you really shouldn't even have gay people in the military because you can't have the military being a social experiment because that affects combat readiness, which I disagree with. I don't think there's any issue there. And by the way, part of why I don't think there's any issue there is because the people actually in charge of running the military have never said that there's an issue there. So why would you think that there is, unless you just have a problem with trans people or with gay people? But I would be very interested to have that conversation with someone who takes that position, because ideologically speaking, someone who takes that position about trans people in the military is also likely to take the position that, well, you can't tell military members they have to get vaccinated. I mean, not always. I'm not saying everyone is going to always take both of those seemingly contradictory positions. But ideologically speaking, it's fairly predictable that some people will. And I would take the position that, no, if you really care about combat readiness, if you care about combat preparedness, and that's, your justification for why you can't have trans people in the military, well, I would then say to you, well, if you care about combat readiness so much, I would think that you would be very concerned about having outbreaks or super spreaders happening in the very military that you're so concerned about. You can't have that, right? Especially at a time when things are a little tense in the world. So, you got to keep everybody healthy in the military. So you're going to have everyone get vaccinated. I would completely support that. They have all kinds of other physical and health requirements. Why can't that be a requirement? Why not? I think it should be. But again, that's controversial to some people. Let's see. John Hopwood posted this. Yeah, I saw this earlier. We're not going to have time to get to it in depth, but a federal judge has vacated the CDC's eviction moratorium. That's going to potentially affect some people in a very negative way. There is a real crisis coming with that. But we might have to get into that another day. But let's grab this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
John Hopwood.
John Hopwood. We have not heard your voice in quite some time. How are you, sir?
Fine. I'm down from the 8,000-foot mountain in New Mexico and here in Manchester.
You've come down from the mountain. I did not know that Manchester was at the bottom of a mountain in New Mexico, but I have to tell you, geography is not my strong suit, so it's good to learn.
Hey, calling about, you were talking about vaccination in the military.
Yeah.
And I certainly was vaccinated for many, many things. You're vaccinated in basic training. Then if you're going to go to different places, Africa, certain parts of East Asia, I'm sure South Asia too, you have to get vaccinated. So the thing is, my father missed World War II, he always said, even though he joined in 43, because they dropped the bomb. So he volunteered for China duty because there was always sailors and Marines, part of the imperial presence in China. And he got vaccinated for that, and that put him in a Navy hospital for 6 months and made him a disabled veteran. But the point is you have no choice. Right. So when you're talking about this, I can only imagine that it's because of the trumpery, a word that I was looking up, which means trumpery, I think, is the willful use of dishonesty and, of lying and that.
Yes.
Interesting, because the word's 300 or 400 years old. And I just came across that. I'm sure we have used it sometime in the past 5 years. But it must be that the situation in the military, because of Trump, is somewhat still volatile. I know that they're worried about, white nationalism and white supremacists in the military.
Yes.
So, and with the limited amount of vaccines, perhaps, but as you can see, for Joe Biden's stumbling with language, he's a stutterer, and he has a history of stumbling. He's actually a very competent person, and he actually knows politics really well, which is one of the reasons he was one of the most powerful men in the Senate and was an effective vice president. So I can imagine that maybe in 6 months' time it will be mandatory. But now, because of all the craziness and trumpery of the Trump administration, that they might have to soft pedal it right now. And since there is, about questions about, supply, although I think those are being, answered, it might be right now, you don't push that point.
But do you think it's inevitable that the president will decide that? I mean, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have to, right?
It's I get the shot every year.
The flu shot.
For the simple fact that I was around many elderly people, and I always got the flu vaccine. And I understand that Pfizer, which has a very good record, I haven't had the shots yet because I've been in New Mexico, then here, been back in New Hampshire, then back in New Mexico and New Hampshire. But the Pfizer shot, they say, you probably are going to have to get a booster.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about we might have to have an annual one. that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I was reading about the first big flu outbreak in our times, which was under Eisenhower in the 50s, and annually. Then when I was a kid in '68, the Hong Kong flu was very serious, and I just think it's a matter of politics, and Biden is a master of practical politics, and that you just don't want to push forward on that right now. But I think it's going to be pretty mandatory.
Yeah. I don't see how. I don't see how it's avoided.
And they're working out Pfizer and the Moderna seem to be. There haven't been many problems at all.
No.
They have an efficacy. The very least efficacy I see is in the low 90s.
Yeah.
And you don't have the problems with the Johnson and Johnson, but
but statistically speaking, you really haven't had any problems with Johnson and Johnson either. I mean, you have more of a chance of being struck by lightning than you do of suffering a side effect from the J&J vaccine.
Yes, but it was sufficient concern that the EU suspended it for a while, and New South Wales, which is the biggest state of Australia, suspended it too.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Huh.
And then they started Pfizer and Moderna for younger people, because I guess the clotting is in younger people, not older people.
Well, I believe it's the age range, if I remember correctly, it was 18 to 48, and largely, mostly women. Well, actually, the first 6 or 7 were all women. Now, I'm not sure. I know there's been a few more since then, but yeah, 18 to 48, I think, was the age range.
I just want to, we don't talk about local politics, but we have 14 aldermen, which is city councilors. Barbara Shaw of 9, she's got it now, COVID. She's the second to have it. Keith Hirschman, who I think you know, he had it too.
Yeah.
And it hurt him,
Yeah.
And they were thinking of relaxing the policy on masks and on meetings. Actually, they were going to have in-person meetings, and you had the option as an alderman, or to others that don't have the alderman system, city councilor, you would have the option to be either on the phone or Zoom, be on remote. But they felt, and there was going to be a certain amount of people allowed in.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is both Republican and Democrat, because now Barbara has it. They say it's too soon to go to in-person meetings. And they're actually thinking they might have to address the issue of the people that come in show that they are vaccinated. But ironically, one of the people that opposed that was a Democrat. So, it's...
Yeah. Did you...
In a place like ours, which isn't as hyper crazy about, the mask being this or that, people can... Both parties can discuss this somewhat rationally,
Well, how did you feel about the governor lifting the mask mandate? Because I was pretty negative on that. Although I'm not as negative as I was about it, but I thought it was the wrong move at the time.
I agree with you. I was rather surprised.
Yeah.
Because in New Mexico it's still strict, but they had a strict lockdown. You didn't see. Like we're here in New Hampshire because there wasn't a penalty. I don't know what your impression was, but mine was half of the people in Manchester, which is the biggest city in New Hampshire, were not wearing masks. And I had to get over a little, irritation about that because
me too.
Life is life, right?
Yeah.
Live free or die. And we do have Gandhi running around, and he might be at the post office Sunday.
That's right. Yes. Oh, by the way, Scott Robinson is in the chat room. Scott Robinson, as you know, one of your biggest fans, and he says, "Wow, this is a bonus Wednesday." He's a big fan of yours and of EZG, so he's very excited right now.
EZG wanted to come on my show the other week. Good luck. I'm in New Mexico.
Yeah. So what is the now? Why do you keep? I don't know if you want to say. I don't even know. So I'm asking genuinely, and say if you want. If you don't, that's fine. But what's the deal with New Mexico? Do you have a love interest there?
Tom Massingale, who.
Oh, you and Tom. I had no idea.
He lives in England also,
Oh,
and he needed house sitting because he has these two
oh.
wonderful labs.
Yeah.
And I go up there, but this time I got oh my God, I got altitude sickness
Really?
and central sleep apnea. Yeah, which happens at 8,000 feet.
Oh.
And I had to go to the emergency room twice.
Oh, wow. No kidding. Ooh, that's not fun.
Jim O'Connell was on my show today. I did my first show in over a month.
Oh, okay.
But, yes, and, I figured because I didn't really feel like talking because a good friend of mine recently passed.
Oh,
and,
sorry to hear that.
and,
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I was vague, but I did address that the other day on the show, and I was very, very sad to learn of the passing of Bill Cashin.
Yes, and I can't even talk about it right now.
Yeah.
But I figured I just need somebody on the show that will do the talking. So the light bulb goes up. I'll call Jim O'Connell.
Yeah, Jim O'Connell definitely can talk. Well,
I remember when I
yeah.
first got him on your show. I asked to be on your show, and afterwards you said, "This is the TV show."
Yeah.
You said, "Hoppy, I never thought I'd meet a person that could out-talk you."
Yep. Yep. But yes.
Well, it's Governor Sununu. We didn't have the penalty, so I would prefer people that they would be a mask mandate.
Mm-hmm.
For all but I'm not going to attack people that unless they're militant and being asses about it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that if something bad happens, I hate to put it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he'll impose it again.
Well, I do think things will continue to improve. I just, at the time, I didn't think it was appropriate to lift the mandate at a moment when COVID numbers were still increasing.
Yes.
But again, I do think I think he's done a phenomenal job as far as the vaccination rollout.
Well, I have a different opinion about him, but I don't feel like sharing it right now.
Well, we're almost out of time anyway, so we need to.
Okay, good talking to you.
Yes. I hope to see you in person soon.
That would be great. I'm here stuck on the flatlands now because, like Brendan, who was my director at the Public Access TV, said, I didn't think you were ever going to come back.
Yes.
It was either that or, being stretched out on, well, let's not get into anything macabre. You take care.
All right, John. Thank you for the call, my friend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hi, Jenny. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Yes, Jenny, also very excited to hear from you in the chat room. Hoppy. Yes, the great John Hopwood. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be, now that he's back on the flatlands, as he says, hopefully we'll be hearing more from him. We are almost out of time. I do want to make sure we say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat that I might have missed. Scott Perry from the Courtesy Call podcast is in the chat room. Hello, Scott. Much like No More Excuses with Tony and Bry, Courtesy Call also drops a new episode every Sunday morning up on IPM Nation, a great political podcast that Scott does every week. Speaking of which, Charles Robinson also in the chat room of the Charles Robinson Show. Charles says, ladies and gents, my show. Did I say? I did it again, didn't I? I said Robinson. I keep doing that. It's Charles Richardson. Charles Richardson says, ladies and gents, my show, The Charles Richardson Show, makes its IPM Nation debut tonight. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in tonight. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Anybody in here we missed, or did we get every... Oh, I know why I do that. Somehow I'm in my mind... Because Scott Robinson is usually in our chat room. Scott's a big supporter of the show. So I think in my mind... Robinson, Richardson, I seem to transpose the names. I've probably called Scott Robinson Scott Richardson at some point. Anyway, well, we do need to begin to wrap up, but thank you all. I'm glad I got a lot of calls today, actually. It was a busy show, which is nice because, as I mentioned, I'm a little tired running on only a few hours sleep, but coming in and doing the show for 2 hours. I never feel it really during the show because I get such an adrenaline boost, and then as soon as I'm off the air, I'll be like, no, I did get in a short nap earlier, but if you're just joining us, Jenny and I had to go to Boston today for her oncology checkup, and she is officially now a cancer survivor. So she now only, instead of every 6 months, only has to go once a year, and that is official, as they used to say back in the Amsterdam days. So it's a very, very good day. So thank you all. Thank you to everybody who called us today. John Hopwood, Tony D, Easy G, Mahatma Gandhi, apparently. Am I forgetting anybody? I think that was everybody. And thank you to everybody in the Facebook live chat. If you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and, of course, at mattconnarton.com, where we do archive everything. And that's it for me for now. I'll talk at y'all a little bit later. Thanks, everybody.